What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it looks like the TikTok ban is now inevitable after the House overwhelmingly passed the bill forcing the sale. Now, ultimately, what does that mean? Does it mean that TikTok will just immediately stop working? Well, I guess in some weird, bizarre, worst case scenario, what it really means I'll explain a little bit more in this video. The headlines are definitely scintillating. And I do think that ultimately TikTok is, and like much social media is, a net negative on society. I think that TikTok is used to indoctrinate our youth into ideologies. I think it pushes, alphabet ideology weirdly, coincidentally, purposely. And I think if it went away tomorrow, it would be a short-term net positive. But the reality is another thing would just pop up. Is banning TikTok an affront to free speech? No, not really. It's not like, you don't have the same freedoms of speech in other places. I think that it's being anti-capitalist, perhaps. But I'm willing to accept a lot more garbage when it's talking about China, when people seem to keep forgetting that TikTok has been caught multiple times sending United States citizen information back to China after they said they weren't doing that. And as of Friday, TikTok ban now inevitable. The House of Representatives have overwhelmingly passed a bill to ban TikTok in the United States, probably so people won't talk about the ridiculous amount of money they also voted to pass to Ukraine, making this law passage and all inevitable, insiders say. The ban was tied to a vote for $95 billion in foreign aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, and has gotten comparatively little attention. Exactly what I said. The TikTok ban is a psyop. The TikTok ban is so that's what everyone talks about. I'm going to talk about the TikTok ban to get people's attention, but I'm going to remind you that your government, just like they did with the Patriot Act, used the TikTok ban to, everyone's going to talk about the TikTok ban, not the 150 or $60 billion our treasonous senators and congresspeople gave to Ukraine, even though most of the country does not support additional money to Ukraine. They're giving all of our tax dollars to Ukraine, Israel, and illegal immigrants. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of communities that could use a little bit of help. But anyway, the TikTok bill passed by a vote of 360 to 58. The full aid bill has yet to be voted on, but it's also expected to pass. What does that mean? Well, the TikTok ban is tied to giving more money to fund more foreign wars, and that's precisely what it's really about. Roughly 150 million Americans are on TikTok, and there have been growing fears among lawmakers about what influences its Chinese communist owners have on the company. 100% influence. In recent months, that's my opinion, TikTok has made headlines for promoting Osama and urging young users to do terrible things. After stuff happened in Israel, the company had faced accusations of promoting all that kind of content and turning younger Americans towards terror. Well, I mean, look at the college campuses today, which we're going to cover in a later video. By the way, there's a lot of news today, so please do tune in at 5:30 Eastern, either over on Rumble or on my YouTube live stream channel, which are always linked in the pinned comment. Quote, the forced sale of TikTok is a bipartisan breakthrough against the CCP's, most powerful tool to information. Oh, CCP, yeah, of course. When I said CCP, I thought USSR for some reason. I don't know why. The most powerful tool of information warfare against the United States, Representative Richie Torres, Democrat, told the Post. No longer will Congress stand idly by with the CCP freely weaponizes TikTok to corrupt the minds of young Americans, radicalize Americans against their own country, and amplify anti-Semitism on a scale that is not seen at a pace in American and human history. You mean you got your money for Ukraine? Following the bill's passage on Saturday, Tennessee teacher Amber Thomas posted a sob story about the detrimental effects of TikTok ban will have on her students. I'm a teacher. I use TikTok to fund food and supplies for my students. The captions of the video read, taking Biden, the campaign account. No other social media app can do this, it read. My students will have access to fresh food weekly because of the wonderful TikTok community. Well, look, if they do ban TikTok, here's what's going to happen. Somebody else is going to buy it. I wonder if the Rumble stock went up because Rumble made an offer, right? I wonder. It did, but not much. A nickel. Wall Street has been buzzing about who might purchase TikTok in the event of a forced divestment from the Chinese owner ByteDance. Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Oracle have all been floated as possibilities. Rumble, a scrappy, free speech-oriented competitor YouTube, has also been talked about as a possible buyer. The obstacle will be the sheer scale of the purchase. The social media company is valued in the past as worth up to $50 million. In March, the House passed a similar TikTok bill, which moved through the chamber in broad bipartisan majority. The effort, however, has been stalled in the Democratic Senate, where Chuck Schumer so far has refused to bring the measure up to a vote. The Senate leader said he would get to the matter, quote, eventually. Well, now it's tied to Ukraine, so you know it's high priority for them. Schumer has in the past, vigorously supported efforts to curtail the influence of TikTok. A U.S. company should buy TikTok so everyone can keep using it and keep your data safe. Yeah, our data is totally safe from American companies. Yawn. He wrote on X post back in 2020, this is about privacy. With TikTok in America, it's subject to Chinese Communist Party laws. They may require handing over data to the government. A safe way must be found for TikTok to continue. So that's the real likelihood here. The ban on TikTok, quote unquote, really looks like this. If they go through with it, there'll be some counterpunch from the CCP, almost certainly. WeChat maybe will get banned in the United States or so. I don't know. Something like that. And then some American company, worst case scenario, will buy it. And TikTok will likely continue to exist. Except now Americans will get rich off of it, and Americans will sell your data, and Americans will push their propaganda. I mean, quite frankly, watching my elected officials waving Ukraine flags on the Senate floor over the weekend was just as disgusting as anything I've seen pushed out of the CCP. The ban was inevitable. It was just how we'd get there and what was up for debate, said one Senate insider. TikTok did a horrible job fighting for its corporate life. The new TikTok ban will allow the company just 9 months to divest or face a nationwide ban, meaning its full consequences won't come into force until after the 2024 presidential election. Well, yeah, the current president needs it to get Gen Z voters. The House's previous TikTok legislation would have only allowed a 6-month window. Democrats in particular rely on TikTok to mobilize younger voters. Other TikTokers reacted with dismay at the news. One user, Hundo Grand, railed in a live stream against lawmakers voting to ban TikTok. The social media follower, who has 1.2 million followers, griped that legislators banned the app because the United States doesn't have its grubby little paws on it. Maybe. It's crazy because that it's only TikTok getting banned. If you're going to ban TikTok, get Facebook out of here too. Facebook is more harm than TikTok getting grabbed. I'm fine with both. It is a gambit because if U.S. companies buy it in the comments, like Twitter, they will just find that billions and billions of dollars run it are actually not coming in as profits, and suddenly it's missing. None of these companies are making money. They appear to make money. I get the governor's stance due to TikTok belonging to a communist China company, but if the ban goes through, it will violate users' First Amendment right. No, it won't. And hurt companies. It doesn't ban companies' First Amendment. People don't understand the First Amendment. If, let's say, a U.S. company was owned, like I think, for example, Facebook violates First Amendment rights. It's a U.S. company based in the United States. Americans have a First Amendment right to have opinions about the jab, for example, or a wide variety of other things that they quite simply are not allowed to say on Facebook. Now, Facebook is a private company and it can have its rules, but then it can't have Section 230 protection. Section 230 protects platforms. Once a platform says, hey, you can't say this, or you can't say that, or this, that, and the other thing, well, that's infringing on people's First Amendment right. TikTok set to remove executives tasked with fending off United States National Security Concerns app after they fail. Executives get fired. TikTok, of course, has vowed to fight the unconstitutional ban. Sorry, TikTok doesn't get to have our constitutional protections. They're a Chinese company. You know, I don't really care that TikTok will be banned because I know how this plays out. Some other worse person in the United States buys it, like Soros or some garbage like that, and pushes their own form of propaganda anyway. The idea that the Chinese government won't have access to our data, I mean, that's just only part of it. I think, I'm a little more black-pilled on it. I think that the United States government sees just how powerful it is as a tool to change people's opinions, to influence how people vote, to influence messaging out there. And they want the same control over TikTok that they had over Facebook and YouTube, and the power they had over Twitter for a very long time. That's what this is really about. The government wants control of it. And they knew that if they tied it to passing funding for Ukraine, that no Democrat could speak out against it. And that people wouldn't talk about how they stole another $100 billion from United States taxpayers to fund another trifecta of foreign wars, because it also went to Taiwan. Of course, the social media app has pled with users to plead with lawmakers, forcing ByteDance to act, passes House, goes to Senate. I would probably say if the Republicans were smart, they'd be coming out and opposing this, because the Republicans need something, because the youth vote is already mobilized because of Roe v. Wade. Maybe they could say, hey, Republican people are coming out and say, nah, we'll just keep TikTok because, trick psyop some of these Gen Zers to supporting Republicans. I don't know. Certainly Republicans and Democrats work together and they both want to have access and control. So I don't think either one is better than the other. Elon Musk came out and said, in my opinion, TikTok should not be banned in the US, even though such a benefit may benefit the X platform. Doing so would be contrary to freedom of speech. Again, no, it isn't. I don't believe it is. It's not what America stands for. And Patrick Bet-David says a TikTok ban would be instant benefit to X, potentially be an instant $10 to $40 billion valuation increase. Yet he discourages the ban because he's thinking long term. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of, the slippery slope of the TikTok ban. Now they want to ban X. Now they want to ban, slowly we turn into China ourselves. The whole thing, I suppose, do I care if TikTok gets banned? No, it's a net negative. Do I support the government taking control of it because that's what this is really about? No. So we get screwed whoever owns it. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.